Sleepaway Camp is a summer camp movie released in November, filled with murder, mystery, romance, and holy freaking crap, I didn't see that coming! A movie with an ending so oddly good, it's worth watching an hour and 25 minutes of bad acting. We open to a relaxing lake in 1975 where John and his boyfriend, Skimpy Shorts Lenny, take John's kids, Angela and Peter, on the most boring boating trip of all time. After the boat furiously capsizes, John and the children poorly attempt to swim to shore 10 feet away. Meanwhile, this goofnut for a lifeguard lets this spoiled little rich girl drive this motorboat directly toward the shore into the only people on the lake, prompting Skimpy Shorts Lenny to say John's name the creepiest way ever. This useless girl with the most annoying voice screams for someone to help them, while Lenny blankly stares at the camera for no reason at all. It is then dramatically revealed that John and one of his kids are killed while that useless girl still screams in painfully annoying panic. 8 years pass and we're introduced to the weirdest character in this movie, Aunt Dr. Martha. We find out through this creepy weirdo that Angela, who now doesn't speak at all, has come to live with her and her cousin Ricky, and that they are both going to summer Camp Arawak. As the kids are calmly exiting the buses to meet camp owner Mel and Too Short Shorts Ronnie, we get our first glimpse of the camp staff in this movie, who creepily says,
"Hey, look at all that young, fresh chicken. Makes your mouth water, don't it?"
I hope he dies first. We find out that Angela is this really cool introvert, but the other kids are totally not getting it, so they're mean and give her a really hard time. Camp counselor Meg doesn't like that Angela won't eat camp food, so she complains to Who's the Boss's nice, kind-hearted Tony Danza lookalike Ronnie, whose shorts are still too small. Ronnie takes Angela to prison perv kitchen cook Artie, who tries to, I hate this guy. Ricky interrupts Artie and the two escape. Frustrated piece of crap Artie goes back to cooking using the most ridiculous pot ever. Seriously, look at it. We see Artie go to the pantry through the eyes of a minifigure, who then stalks him in the kitchen. The figure grabs pervy Artie's cushion tush and then with man hands pulls the chair out from under him. And we get to see this creepy perv pay with scalding hot water. Take that, creeper. Artie is hauled off by paramedics while these three ad-lib their way through this scene.
What's the prognosis, Doc?
Well, he's badly burned all over.
No freaking crap. We all just watched and heard Artie the sicko screaming in glorious agony. We are then treated to the greatest softball game in cinematic history that is there only to pad the movie runtime to an hour and 28 minutes. Fellow campers Kenny and Mike ask Angela to go to the lake for a little hanky-panky swim, but then they start making fun of her. Ricky comes in and takes up for her, and this little sausage party ensues. Ricky's friend Paul shoots his shot with Angela, and she says the first word she's spoken since the beginning of the movie.
Good night.
Paul's virgin response is to immediately run away. Meanwhile, Bully Kenny is out on the lake, irritating this chick who he clearly sees swim back to shore. Kenny, while alone out on the lake at night, does what we all would do, casually chills out inside this overturned canoe, yelling the name of the girl who just left. When he's confronted by a killer head popping out of the water, Kenny barely has a reaction to the killer and dies in the silliest way possible once we later find out who's doing the killing. Kenny's body is discovered the next day, and once again paramedics are carrying out another dead body from this camp, this time with everyone watching. Billy, while on the roof for some dumb reason, throws a water balloon at Angela, which knocks her down. Ricky sees this and reveals to everyone he needs anger management classes. Water balloon Billy runs toward his bunk to take a wicked number 2 and gets locked in his poop stall by a broom. The window screen directly above his head is ripped open and a beehive is dropped in on him. Instead of quickly crawling under the stall door, which has plenty of room to escape, he just dies. With pedo cook Artie boiled, Bully Kenny drowned, And now Beehive Billy dead, Mel begins to think there's a killer in the camp. For a horror movie, that actually makes sense, but Ronnie Tightshirt isn't sure what to think and wants to consolidate all the kids' bunks, even though only 2 campers have died. Paul kisses Angela, which makes her weirdly flash back to a memory of her dad in bed with this guy. Paul, who couldn't get any from Angela, gets seduced by the camp floozy, Judy, who looks like she's 25. Angela finds Paul and Judy the floozy kissing in the woods and runs away. Paul tries to put all the blame on the camp floozy when she and Meg show up to make things worse by throwing Angela in the water, while Mel, with a top-notch threat assessment, confronts this tiny kid thinking he could possibly be the killer. This lifeguard who helped rescue Angela has some real choice 1983 words for Meg.
You're a real peckerhead, you know that, Meg?
Ricky comforts Angela, and in his best I could be the killer red herring moment vows,
You won't let them get away with this, that's for sure.
Meg invites herself to dinner alone with shriveled up old Mel. However, she never makes it. While in the shower, she gets it in the back and provides us with some first-class acting. Paul apologizes to Angela, who tells him to meet her at the waterfront after the social. A bunch of kids are sleeping in the freezing woods with camp counselor Eddie. 2 of them get cold, so he decides to drive them back to camp.
All right, up to the car.
While leaving 4 small children in the freezing cold woods alone at night. When he returns, he finds they've been hacked into little pieces and throws up because he's stupid. The camp floozy gets killed with a pillow over her face and a curling iron in her YouTube rolls. Instead of fighting back at all, she tries her hand at shadow puppetry and dies like this. Mel, on the search for his underage date Meg, finds her dead body in the shower and should earn an Oscar for this acting.
Fuck you, Meg.
He immediately blames Ricky and rushes to find him. Mel catches Ricky, putting him in a fierce headlock before slapping him unconscious for killing Meg. After running away, Mel stumbles onto the same set as Friday the 13th and meets the real killer, who can apparently throw an arrow through his neck. With all the murders being discovered and called in, one lone cop shows up to handle this situation. The cop gives advice for everyone to stay inside their cabins because there's a killer on the loose.
Now I suggest you send them all back to their kids to make sure everyone stays inside.
And then immediately tells them to split into pairs to look for dead people.
Everybody out in pairs. Look everywhere you can think of, even the empty cabins.
Paul meets Angela at the lake, who wants to go swimming. Even though Paul knows Angela's tragic family history and her fear of the water,
I'm really sorry about what happened to your family.
she tells him to take his clothes off, and he's half naked before she unbuttons anything. Fake mustache cop finds alive but unconscious Ricky in the woods. Officer Sharpie Stash then finds Meg's dead body in a cabin. Ronnie and Susan are looking for missing kids when he hears Angela singing on the beach with Paul's bloody head in her lap. Just when we thought we could forget about her, we're treated to another flashback of creepy Auntie Dr. Martha. Weird Auntie Dr. Martha explains that when Angela came to them, they already had a boy named Ricky, and since you're not allowed to have 2 boys in the same house, she's gonna raise Angela, who is really Peter, who survived in the beginning of the movie, as a girl. Back on the beach, Peter stands up with his hanging out, revealing Angela is really a boy. Ronnie can't believe it, and his eyes frequently check out Peter's goods in disbelief. To delegitimize this actually good, shocking twist ending, the writers of the movie have Peter and Angela stare off camera, growling like an animal until the credits roll. And they all live traumatically ever after, until this steamer hits theaters 5 years later.